The WCF services will be secured using conventional intranet security. This means that standard Windows authentication will be used. Remember, the services sit behind a firewall, as does the IIS server that's going to be hosting the website. The desktop application, being internal to the car rental company, also sits behind the firewall. So I can actually use a dedicated user account for the website and then a dedicated admin role for the users of the desktop to keep things simple yet still secure. Only users of the car rental company authorized to use the desktop client would be made members of this role. Later, when I develop the services, I'll show you how this security design manifests itself into the code. Customers using the website will be required to create a user account, so good old-fashioned ASP.NET Forms authentication will be used here. Now, Forms authentication has been wrapped by different patterns since the introduction of ASP.NET, and in fact, new ones are being introduced while I develop this course. I've decided to use the simple membership provider simply because it works and it provides what I need without unneeded complexity. Forms authentication will also provide the security that I need to secure any web API services later. Now, so far the security that I've described protects my services from outsiders, but there's still one additional level of security that I'm going to be needing here. I'll need to also secure the data from user to user. This means that just because customer A is an authenticated user into the website and can thus perform functions that end up accessing my WCF services, they shouldn't be able to access data that pertains to customer B. Now, I'll need to be able to take care of this problem in a manner that's easy and reusable. I started this process earlier when I showed you the database layout. I pointed out tables that had data in it that pertained to specific user accounts and how they contained a column called Account ID. I also mentioned that no matter how many times removed those tables would be from the actual account table, I would still have provided them with an account column. You'll see the code manifestation of this design in the next 3 modules. When I develop my entities, my data access layer, and then my services, you'll see the pattern that I came up with for handling this problem in an easy and what I think is a very elegant fashion. The pattern and the techniques that I'll show you later will involve any WCF or Web API service that need to know about the current user trying to access information from it. Now, this may sound simple, but it's not as easy as you might think, because if you've done any kind of WCF before using intranet security, you know that the identity that gets propagated down to the service during a service call, what's known as the primary identity, is that of the caller. And in the case of a website, the caller is not the actual browser user. Remember, it's the IIS server itself. So what I need to do is that I need to get the actual user of the browser down to the service, but I need to do it in a way that does not impede the developer's productivity. I'll be talking significantly more about this over the next 3 modules.